Welcome back to Zoned In Podcast, everybody. I'm Joey Meatballs, and it's good to be back. Alongside me, we got the usual Big Mo, KP, and Weezo, and we're ready to talk some sports with y'all today. So we're going to kick it right into In the Now with our players of the week. There's only, one or two games this week because of the All-Star break. So our players of the week are going to be a little out in left field here. But start my player of the week, a personal favorite of Carl's, I know. It's going to be Michael Never Swing the Rock Porter Jr. dropping a 34-point, 12 rebound, double last night, 1 assist. But he shot 13 for 21 from the field. And then the game before that, against Washington, he had another double with 22 and 11 and 2 assists. So, improvement. But yeah, he's had a good week. Still doesn't swing the rock, but at least he's hitting his shots now because he wasn't doing that before. So yeah, Michael Porter Jr., my player of the week. Weezo, you want to take it next?
So I'm going to go with Victor Wembanyama. 2 straight double-doubles on the week. Very good performances. Also, I believe 5 steals, 5 blocks on the most recent game against the Los Angeles Lakers. He definitely looks like a superstar that everyone expected him to be. Granted, anyone who can move like that while being that tall, is league breaking. That shouldn't be allowed to exist.
He also had 5 steals the game before too against Sacramento.
Yeah, he's just game breaking, and it's a shame that he has Jeremy Sochan on his team.
He might be
one of the worst basketball players I've ever seen.
I mean,
well, he should not be playing averaging. That's for damn sure.
Wembanyama averaging a double on the year now. So, after this week, that's what put him into it. I think I could be wrong.
I'm just saying, put a passer like Tyrese Halliburton on a team with Wemby, and they're not losing a single game ever.
Okay. They traded one away in Derek White, so
yeah,
they
made a big mistake, man.
They had the best true point guard in basketball, man.
Yep. All right, Max.
You could do it all: defense, offense.
You're totally not biased.
Bench. What?
You're totally not biased about that.
I'm just saying, man. Derek White's a great point guard.
All right. My player of the week is Shai Gilgeous-Alexanderith III. For the OKC Thunder. They played 2 games this week. Both were big games by Shai. The first one against a team I value very much this season in the LA Clippers. 31 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. And that was by, I think, at least a 15-point margin against a very good team, which is very good for the Thunder overall. They're becoming very scary as of late. And then against Knicks' wonderful Wizards, the following day, 30 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists. And I think it was a win by almost 30 points against the Wizards. So that's great. Back-to-back 30-point stunners in big victories heading towards the Thunder's strong playoff push. But Shai leading the way. I'm pretty sure they'll go far.
Yeah, the Wizards need to give Bilal Coulibaly a lot more minutes.
Or Landry Shamet.
Yeah. All right, so for my player of the week, I chose the per 36 god himself, Bol Bol. In a loss against the Houston Rockets of all teams, he put up 25 points, 14 rebounds, 1 block, 1 steal, and only 27 minutes of play. So really good game from Bol Bol. Probably the most minutes he's played all season, and they lost. So I don't know if they're going to give him more time overall, but it was a very good game from Bol Bol.
He had so much hype coming in, I feel like, and he just rode the bench
because he is very, very tall. But
yeah. Anyway, all right, we'll move on now. We're gonna do because we had once again short week, so you can't really do team of the week when they only play 1 game, 2 games for some teams. So we're gonna do our all-star player of the game. I'll kick it off. My player of the game is Karl Anthony Towns. Cat, he dropped the 50 burger, 8 rebounds. I mean, granted, when you shoot the ball 35 times, which is more than I think it's double anyone else on his team, you're going to score 50 points. So not exactly the most efficient, I suppose, 23 for 35. But, 50 points in the All-Star game. It's I want to say it's special, but it's really not. There's no defense. So 50 points, yeah. Karl Anthony Towns. Max?
Oh, I mean, who else is there to pick other than Mr. Dame Time? The defending 3-point contest champion after Trae Young sold in the finals matchup there. Literally the most atrocious 3-point shots I've ever seen him take. He had like 2 balls he missed on his money rack that could have won him the thing, and he just didn't. I hate it. But Dame, timeless 3-point shooter. I love watching him compete in the 3-point contest. If it's not Curry or Trae, it's like I like watching Dame. Dame is the next best thing. And Cat hung in there for a lot longer than I thought he was gonna. But he was the leading scorer with 39 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists for the East. I mean, the range he was shooting from during that game. Granted, we talk about they don't play like defense at all, but he was just knocking down shots from just places Dame can knock down shots from, but it's still like, oh my Lord, and he was cooking, and my AirPod fell out. That's great. He was cooking in the East alongside his teammate Giannis, so it was cool to see. He was my favorite for the All-Star break. He cooked.
All right, so for my selection, I went with the dunk contest participant. He really showed off in the dunk contest this weekend. Jaylen Brown, getting tens across the board on some of the most simplest dunks you'll ever see. But not talking about that game, but the All-Star game, he put up 36 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists in 22 minutes. So he was the second highest scorer on the winning East team. So good performance from him.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, yeah.
So for my player, I'm going to come from the Eastern Conference here, and I'm going to say Tyrese Halliburton. He scored 32 points, which I believe was third most on his team. And the main difference between this and the other performances on his team is the amount of shots he took. He attempted 15 field goals and made 11 of them. Out of those 15, 14 were 3-pointers, and he made 10. To put that into perspective, Dame made 11 out of 23 attempts. So he was shooting at a near perfect clip and got nearly as many points despite taking 11 less shots than Dame time. So he was just efficient on another level in that game.
Going back to what I was going to say about Jaylen Brown before Nick started going there. I mean, yeah, the dunk. I feel like I should speak on the dunk performance. Being a Celtics fan, yeah, he should not have gone to the finals. But like I saw the video of like the no look dunk he did in practice. He actually did do it right. Just when it came to the actual competition, I don't know what happened. But with that being said, I still think that him participating is a big step towards like actually having all-stars compete in it, because it's like I don't know. I think Stephen A had a really good idea. I forgot what it was on how to fix the dunk contest, but
yeah, well, him getting clowned might not be the greatest step towards getting more superstars in the dunk contest, though.
Yeah, I mean, he said he'd come back though.
Everybody knows the real winner of the dunk contest should have been Obi Toppin's brother.
Mm-hmm. Well, we at this point we just call it the Mac McClung contest and move on.
He did. He should have. Yeah, he was pretty cool dunks, for sure. All right, we'll move on to my worst of the week. Before I get into my real worst of the week, I think personally my worst of the week is how Dunkin' hasn't sponsored me yet. I was the original Dunk King. They should sponsor me. They sponsor our podcast. But that's just my opinion. I know that's not really sports related, but Duncan, sponsor me, please. All right, moving on. Worst of the week. The new MLB uniforms. Let me just. I have a picture here. We'll see what we can do to get it up, but I'll show it to you guys right now. You can't see it because of my background. But
I'll get it up.
All right, I'll send it to you. But they're just atrocious. I mean, the pants are see-through. It looks like the jerseys they gave us when we played Little League baseball back in like 2007. The players don't feel like they're wearing replica jerseys. They don't like them. They don't like them. They say the material's more comfortable, but they look like shit. You can see the parts of stuff that you should not be able to see. Kids are watching this sport. I don't think kids should be seeing that ever from MLB players. Like players during their photo ops are covering their pants so that you can't see it on their photo days.
Oh my
Like
Lord.
I would call the jerseys ass, but that might be a bit too on the nose considering what you can see through them.
Like it's crazy that like somebody at Fanatics, someone at Nike in quality assurance had to look at these, say, yup, those look good, send them out. Somebody had to approve those. Like,
I mean, we know ticket sales are going up in the Rogers Center for Vladdy now.
Oh, and not even to mention, speaking of sales, they're selling for $175 now. That's $40 more than last year. You can't charge people $40 more for something that looks $50 worse.
Yeah, not to mention the names on the back, as in like the smallest font. You can like barely even see it. And then if you have a name or a last name longer than like 8 or 9 letters, it curves around the numbers. Like it's not Jared Saltalamacchia here.
Yeah,
like,
and they're not even stitched on anymore. It's like the crappy iron-on numbers. It's always been stitched on, except for the City Connects, which is fine because the City Connects are supposed to be different. But
also, like another issue of it is the quality of the players' jerseys on the fields themselves. Of course, I recently saw a post about Michael Chavis on the Mariners. We're familiar with him, Joey, as he is a former Red Sox player.
Yep.
His jersey, his letters were not even, and his name, the I and S on his name, were lower than the rest of his name.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Nick. Somebody had to look at these at Nike, at Fanatics, and say, "Yep, these are good MLB quality jerseys that we can ship out." Not even the ones that they're selling, the ones they're giving to the players and to the coaches. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, Fanatics has been a historically cheap company with quality control issues. And all I can say now about them is NHL fans, I'm so sorry for what's coming.
Just get, if any of you guys are looking to get jerseys, just get them from China. There's a website called DHgate. You can get them for like $30 and they're better quality than Fanatics now.
Not sponsored.
And they're fake.
I mean, honestly, at this point, you might as well just get the fake jersey because it's $140 cheaper. And I mean,
they take a while and you might get scammed, but it's worth the
shot. $30. It's $30, not $150.
This example just shows how much Fanatics is focusing all of their company assets on trying to acquire the sports cards from Panini instead of focusing on everything else, because they realize that market is so much better for them right now. And the jersey sales, they're just trying to steal all those rookies next year from football. Hope football fans, we are not getting autographs for any goddamn quarterbacks next year. We have nothing. We have zero. Nada. Because Fanatics is taking the rights to them all.
Jesus. And then it's because it's weird. It's a weird system because I guess there's still Nike jerseys, but Nike is producing them through Fanatics now instead of Majestic, I believe.
Yeah, they need to give it back to Majestic. Majestic was doing a phenomenal job.
They were awesome jerseys, especially how long ago weren't they like only? I know only, but they were only $100 like 5 years ago, and now they're $170. I guess that's outrageous.
The Mookie Betts one I have in my closet right now was under 100. I got it on sale, but it was like under 100.
Yeah. The only justification for a price rise like that is a drastic increase in quality, and we've seen the inverse of that. So something's not adding up here.
Yeah, I got my Stanton jersey for $50. And it's
Exactly.
real.
That's what I'm saying. Like, anyway, and I have a second worst of the week this week. This one will be a little more brief. It's not as bad as the uniforms for the MLB, but MLB free agents, specifically the Boris Four. Scott Boras being so freaking good at his job ruins the MLB offseason. Like, credit where credit's due. Scott Boras is probably the best agent in all of sports, maybe of all time, because he gets his clients the contracts that they want. They get their money. But they take so long, man. Like, spring trading started. If you're not signed by spring training, I'm sorry. I think there should be like a deadline involved that if you're not signed by spring training, then you like, I don't know how the rule would work exactly, but like, it's like in the NFL, you sign before the offseason starts or before the offseason like practices start and like mini camp and all that starts so that you can actually get acclimated with the team, get the plays down, all like that. MLB that you like JD Martinez, he signed in mid-March, I think. Like when he came to the Red Sox, and that's what it's like. We have 4 big names: Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell, Cody Bellinger, and who's the last one that the Boris for? Carl.
I don't remember.
Okay, well, you got those 3 guys at least all still haven't signed yet, and then that to me is a big problem. You have to sign. And then you have a ton of little names who are also either Scott Boras clients or like smaller agents that also have not signed because they're trying to copy the Scott Boras method.
Sorry, Matt Chapman.
Matt Chapman, thank you. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Who are copying the Scott Boras method. Because I believe JD Martinez is also Scott Boras.
Well, it's different because he's the only guy that's not looking for like a multi-year deal, probably.
Yeah, but you think he would be signed by now if he's looking for a 1-year deal.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, I mean, you're just talking about the genius of Scott Boras, but the genius of Scott Boras hasn't really worked this offseason since there's no real market for his free agents left.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Blake Snell turned down $150 million over 5 years from the Yankees, and there's no market for him. He might end up getting 20, 25 mil a year. Same thing with Montgomery. I don't know what he was offered exactly. But there was definitely a market for him at some point. It was clear that he wanted to go back to the Rangers, and that was like his main thing. But
Montgomery
the Rangers
was offered
didn't
by
have
the
any money.
Sox. Like it was like 4 years for like 100 or something like that.
Is that real?
I don't know if they were still waiting for the price to come down. They said so. It might not be real.
I don't know if that's real. Oh, I don't think they offered him that if they were looking for the price to go down because that would have been like a fair offer.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
And then Bellinger, I think it's the same thing. Like Montgomery, Bellinger want to go back to their teams from last year, but there's just no market for them there.
Well, and the Rangers also don't want Montgomery back. They can't pay him.
And then Matt Chapman is
nothing.
Everybody knows he's severely overvalued.
The Rangers can't pay Montgomery, and they have an abundance of starting pitching.
Yeah,
especially with DeGrom coming back if he stays healthy.
He's not coming back until like late.
Oh,
well, the whole reason why the Sox
got TJ in like May or June last year.
I mean, Nick, the whole reason why the Sox are still in on Monty is because the Rangers can't afford to sign him back, and his wife is doing the residency in Boston. Other than that, they would not be even close, probably, because they're not making him competitive offers.
Yeah.
All right.
What happened to us?
Anything else to add? Anybody?
What happened to the team I love?
Other than Blake Snell needs to be a Yankee, and we should just get it done.
Please no.
Atlanta Braves.
Okay, he's not going to make a donation to the Braves Foundation today. All right, we're not doing that.
I think the Braves need a 6th starting pitcher. Blake Snell?
Yes.
Blake Snell for some bullpen depth. And he gets paid $1 a year.
Knowing the Braves management, they would manage that contract.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to move right along to our NFL segment of In the Now. We're going to talk about the new cap changes and expected releases. We'll
Yeah.
kick it off real quick though by mentioning that T. Higgins. We were all correct. T. Higgins did get the franchise tag last night. I mean, it was expected. Will the Bengals now use that free agency money on something that they need more, like a line or some defense?
I don't think they have
Probably
that much
not.
money. I mean, they already extended Burrow. The Higgins tag is like 20 mil.
And they got to extend Chase next year.
Yeah, I think it's just trying to survive at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the cap, actually, we haven't discussed it because I interrupted Joey, but the cap has increased by 30 mil, which is pretty significant. So that is going to help quite a bit of teams. Actually, the Bengals have 50 mil in cap. So yeah, they could sign some offensive linemen for sure.
So now what are they going to have? 80 mil?
No, I think this has it accounted for like for the new increase.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it because that means the Pats are going to have more money, and we need help. Granted, this free agent class isn't anything special, with this money that you could save for next year. You can make trades to hold a big contract, stuff like that.
It depends though. There are some big guys that they haven't made a decision on yet that should be like prime, or at least not that I've seen.
Oh, in New England?
Guys like, are you talking about only New England or like just all of free agency?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know what you were talking about when I said that.
Oh, no,
because I said the free agent
like,
class wasn't the best. So,
because there's still guys like I didn't see anything happen with Josh Allen or anything. Has there? Have they re-signed him?
No, I know there was something with Brian Burns. He wanted 30 mil a year, and they offered him 27.
Yeah, so he could be out the door too. I mean,
that's
there
true.
could
Yeah.
be.
I mean, if I were him, I would want to leave Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, and then you also have Tampa Bay, where you got Winfield, who they say was going to get the tag, but it hasn't been placed yet. Baker and Mike Evans all leaving.
Yeah, they have to figure that out because they didn't. Mike Evans, I'm pretty sure Mike Evans came out and said his only lock-in deal with the Bucs is if they keep Baker, which I don't think they can do.
That's
well,
fair.
I don't think they can keep Baker, Winfield, and Evans. I don't think they have enough money for that.
That's the thing. Like one would have to go, or else they're probably like all gone. If I were them, I would probably lock in Winfield.
Yeah,
and just let those two.
Winfield is he's one of the best safeties in the league.
He's very.
Hey,
so
Baker, very big if they let you walk, if you come to New England, I'll buy you a Dunkin' Iced on me.
Baker to New England might be like the most. Baker to New England
they'd have to get some. They definitely have to move some money around because
he fits in New England.
Oh my God, the cap number for Chris Godwin is 27 mil. For Carlton Davis, it's 20 mil.
Yeah,
I mean, they definitely got to move some stuff. Even Russell Gage is getting 13 mil. He doesn't see the field.
Yeah. I mean,
they're going to have to definitely. That's probably a big cut candidate right there. Russell Gage, he should get cut.
Yeah.
I think this cap increase too gives a lot of more options for teams that are, like we all know there are some teams that are on the brink of like cap hell, and I think just this kind of little bump up gives them more of a chance to, actually have maybe some free money going into free agency when they make their cuts and, their contract adjustments. I see some teams like the Chargers and the Saints being some teams that, can make do with this change. I honestly think
the Saints are only like -50 now.
Yeah. So, I mean, like even the Chargers, we're going to see like, it's going to be crazy because I have a feeling we're going to see like the Chargers' entire team we saw from last year walk or be cut or just let go.
I think Eckler is going to get cut.
Eckler's a big, especially because they're looking at. Well, I mean, it doesn't really make any sense to cut Eckler and sign Saquon. I just don't know what the money would be.
But, I mean,
Saquon is that would still be a
better bet
contract
for them. I think a better bet for them would be to cut Eckler and then like draft somebody.
Yeah,
dude, why not?
Blake Corum action?
Come on, you're telling me they wouldn't give Isaiah Spiller a chance?
Blake Corum, stop.
My only thing is this isn't a very running back heavy draft.
No classes are super running back heavy. I mean, I know like last year we got 2 in the first round like early, which is pretty unexpected.
Rare.
But I mean, I don't know. We'll
Usually
probably
there's
see
like
some
one
more
or
after
two
the
like
combine, some
really
more
good
running back
ones, and I
hype.
just don't see that this year.
But I mean, you'll see like 5th-round running backs just be really good. Like you see that
Bucky
every
Irving.
year.
Bucky Irving will be a very good running.
I mean, we just saw Kyron Williams is probably like a top 5 running back in the league.
Yeah, and he was like a 6th-round pick or
6th round
something.
pick the year before, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah,
Anyone
you can
could
do that.
break out.
Austin Eckler has been one of the best running backs in the league. He went undrafted.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a top-heavy class for it to be a good running back class. That's why the running back position is so undervalued in the NFL.
Yeah,
because you can get a good running back.
Those picks are guys like Saquon, respectively, so far in another season coming up without Arthur Smith. We'll see Bijan turn into that guy that deserves to be taken in that top 10. But there are just certain guys that get taken at that spot. But I think even if it doesn't seem like it on paper, there is a lot of value in running backs in this draft. I mentioned I'm a big fan of Bucky Irving. I don't think Blake Corum is great, but I think he would probably do okay on an NFL roster, maybe working in. And we have to mention just as much as quarterbacks, running backs get injured all the time.
Well, we'll go more into the draft later. We're going to head over to Hot Zone next. We're going to kick it to Big Mo for the Hot Zone Hot Take of the Week. As we preface every week, it may not be a good opinion, but it generates good conversation. Big Mo, take it away.
All right. This one hits close to home today. Again, we're always here for discussion when it comes to these hot takes. So at the end of the day, it might not always look like a hot take. It could be cold. It could be warm. It could be lukewarm. Nobody knows, it's just what my brain thinks of. So today's segment, the Falcons, which totally goes against my mock draft later, but we'll get into that. The Falcons trading up for one of the top 3 QBs this year would be the biggest mistake in the draft since Tack McKinley. All right. So my argument here, there is plenty of opportunity so far from what we've seen. We talked about, signings and franchise tags earlier. A lot of these quarterbacks that are going to be available in free agency or aim to be available in free agency have not done anything yet. So we're talking about guys in free agency that could possibly be available. The main guys being guys like Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, very good 1-year guys if you think about it. Or there are better QBs to trade for less value on the trade block, as in Justin Fields for possibly a 2nd-round pick, or even Russell washed up Wilson is on the market for nowhere near a 1st-round pick, which is a lot better for the Falcon situation, where it could seem like we need a lot more in the 1st round. I feel like the team itself can manage without a superstar QB for one more season. The defense is looking better than ever from previous years, where it has been the most atrocious thing about the team. But that could change a lot depending on free agency, as there are going to be a lot of guys walking, and where I feel like we need to take this draft to address the defense in free agency, address defense more. And I feel like the team just has more pressing needs for, even though as bad as we saw Desmond Ridder play and Taylor Heineke, I feel like a new edge rusher with Calais Campbell probably. I don't really think he's leaving, but he could retire. We never know how people will wake up and feel one day. I think corner is a pressing need more because Jeff Okudah could walk. At most, he would come back on probably like a 1-year deal. We have 0 good linebackers. I mean, I don't know if anyone's a Caden Ellis fan. I am not a Caden Ellis fan. And there's Bud Dupree to his side and Nate freaking Landman to the other side. So I'm very scared. And a wide receiver because Drake London's it. And then behind him is a 30-year-old 6'3" guy and nothing because they're all leaving. At pick number 8, I feel like guys will be in that realm, like Dallas Turner, Malik Neighbors if he fell, Odunze. I would not be angry about taking at 8 because we need a receiver. Nate Wiggins or Arnold would definitely be a guy you could take there. But at the end of the day, there are plenty of QBs to draft also in the second and third round that can make an instant impact due to Desmond Ridder being dog water, and Taylor Heineke just being a waste of space on the roster. So that is my introduction. A little longer than usual because it's my Falcons. But just let me know what you think, guys. Bear with me here. Help me out. I'm scared.
My initial thoughts on this. So you say, either okay. So hypothetically, say you get Russ or Kirk. When you get those quarterbacks at this age for them, that's going to be like a bridge quarterback. Who would be your plan? Like who are you be waiting for to come into the draft? Because this is a very good quarterback draft. And there's not a lot of guys behind them next year that are going to be coming in the draft. Maybe Quinn Ewers. Maybe you wait 4 years and get Arch Manning. Maybe.
I think you know.
We know who Max has his eye on. He plays.
I think you know.
Carson Beck.
He plays in Colorado.
He plays for Colorado. He's the son of a Falcons legend, and he will be in Atlanta. All right.
But you have to have a high draft pick for that. So if you're going to get Kirk Cousins, if you're giving up stuff for Russ, you're giving up stuff. Money for Kirk Cousins, you're trying to go to playoffs. Kirk's not going to come sign in Atlanta if he's not going to the playoffs. He's going to go back to Minnesota where he thinks he has a chance to make playoffs every year.
With what defense?
Doesn't matter. He has Jamar Chase. He'll just drop 50 on everybody. And then lose first rounds.
It's not clear he could be staying either. They could have plans.
He will stay. If Kirk comes back, he will stay. He said he wants to know their quarterback plan, and he does like playing with Kirk Cousins a lot. So Kirk stays, he stays.
So back to the Falcons, I could definitely see their general manager and their owner Arthur Blank thinking that they're one piece away, and that's quarterback. Even though Max just laid out that that's not true at all. Even Max talking about it makes it seem that they should probably trade down and acquire more assets, and then probably draft like an edge in the first round, and then draft like receiver, offensive line, linebacker, especially later in the draft. Like if they could acquire another first round pick moving down probably like 10 spots, acquire another first, maybe a second as well, I think that would be ideal for them.
Yeah. Trade down, maybe get a little Chop Robinson. I know you like some Chop Robinson, man. But I definitely do think you're right. I think you're a quarterback away from being a playoff team, but if you want to be a serious contender, I think you go and you get a wide receiver, an edge, or offensive lineman first, or linebacker. There are some good, like, not rotational, but like filler linebacker pieces in free agency this year. Nothing like crazy, but like a guy like I think Mac Wilson's hitting the market this year. Like he's nothing special, but he's a guy who could come in and get you.
He's a hybrid guy for sure.
Jordan Brooks.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying.
Jordan Brooks, that'd be big.
Jordan Brooks.
Jordan Brooks from the Seahawks.
The ideal offseason, I think, for the Falcons for me is they go out and get Justin Fields for a second round pick because he still has a lot of talent, and especially the running threat he adds to that offense. Imagine a like option based offense with Fields and Bijan potentially running, and then the option to either throw it to London or Pitts too. That's actually dirty. Yeah. Especially if I think at 8, I think they should add someone like Rome Odunze on the outside to just make it the offense go that extra mile.
I do okay with that idea, but I don't think a QB coach we picked up on offensive coordinator for the Rams would run an option offense.
Nobody runs an option offense.
Yeah, so
nobody runs an option offense.
Well, yeah, I know, but there's the potential of like
football.
Running plays, fakes, and different like things you can do with those two.
If there was a quarterback this year that I would take a chance on trading an asset for, it would probably be more Fields in my favor. I think just with that offense, that's probably, I don't want to say much more than the Bears ever gave him, but it's a much better offense to stay into. And respectfully to the Bears offensive line, I feel like we have a way better offensive line, especially for the run. So I feel like Justin Fields will be able to thrive more. And then, you're giving up a way lower asset than what we would have to get up to trade into the top 5.
Honestly, a second-round pick for a quarterback of his talent is not that expensive.
And then again, he's on a rookie deal still. So, I mean, it could be a 1-year experiment where we just test it. And if he's that bad, we would be necessarily bad again. hypothetically, possibly in that top 10 position again for a draft pick. So hypothetically, being in a position to trade up for a Shedeur wouldn't be so out of the realm if we're that bad again.
True.
Yeah. I think if none of that happens before the draft, I think if the Bears, or sorry, not if the Bears, if the Falcons stick at 8 and Jaden Daniels is gone, then I think they should definitely like move down and draft like a Bo Nix in the second round, or even like a Spencer Rattler late. I think it'd be interesting for them.
Yeah,
I think
Spencer
any of
Rattler
those
late wouldn't be a bad idea.
Any of those quarterbacks would be better than Desmond Ridder. So,
I mean, Spencer Rattler late. I feel like he always had the talent. He never just put it together. He never developed in college like he was supposed to.
Especially he was good last year too. He had a good season.
Yeah.
He had a very good season.
Yeah.
I mean, he was no JJ McCarthy.
Okay.
Get that guy out of here, bro.
Hey, man. Better watch out. He's going to the Seahawks.
If he falls there.
Hey, we're getting Michael Penix. It's fine.
Yeah,
if he
imagine the Seahawks trade up to draft JJ McCarthy.
If he doesn't go top 10, Joey, apparently, quote unquote, if he doesn't go top 10.
Yeah, I want to know who's valuing JJ McCarthy as the best quarterback in this draft.
Jim Harbaugh manipulating the system.
What?
It's Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh is trading his pick down to the Bengals, and the Bengals are taking Brock Bowers.
Bengals are not taking Brock Bowers.
All right.
They said multiple times they want Brock Bowers.
Let's move into the next segment.
All right. Talking about the draft, we're going to head into our second mock draft of the year. The one, the only, Big Mo mock draft 1.0.
Reeling it in. Here we go, baby. Mock drafts. I love mock drafts. I do them all the time. Now that we finally got all these picks settled in, we can actually do a real one. Sorry, Nick, yours isn't real. This is going to be the first real one.
You're not real.
You're not real.
We'll go pick by pick here. You're not real. The Bears stick it out. They hold their position. They get no good trade offers in for one, and they just take the shot. In this scenario, they're keeping Justin Fields. The Bears are selecting Ohio State University wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. first overall.
I like it. I think it's outside of Caleb. I think it's the only obvious 1-1 guy you could go with. I don't see you drafting anyone over him besides Caleb Williams. So I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, he's probably the best receiver talent we've gotten out of the draft in a long time. I'd say maybe since like Julio.
Yeah, it's the same conclusion I came to in my
more than
draft,
Jettis.
so I agree.
Jettis was like 25th overall.
More than Jamar?
Oh,
I'd say more than Jamar because he's actually played last year.
Never mind, I got confused on, by the way, you worded that. Never mind. I apologize.
So, number 2, with Marvin Harrison going first, the Washington Commies get their quarterback of the future with USC quarterback Caleb Williams, which seems like the go-ahead pick here.
Yeah, that would be a great pick for Nick's Commanders over there.
I am not a Commanders fan.
Except I think he would get murdered alive because their offensive line horrendous.
It is.
Yes.
And he'd have to score a lot of points. Their defense sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It would be a terrible fit for him. I gotta be honest.
They have a lot of. They got Terry.
They have
McLaurin.
a lot of nothing.
They got a lot of Terry McLaurin.
Scary Terry. Oh boy.
They got Scary Terry. That connection would be cool if he has more than 1 second in the pocket. But
which won't
between
happen.
The Eagles' defensive line and the Cowboys' defense pass rush, it's going to be
even the Giants.
Fun.
Even the Giants.
If this happens,
even the Giants,
I expect the Trevor Lawrence rookie season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I would agree. Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving right along, we have something that really goes against the hot zone today. We have the Falcons trading up with the Patriots to to pick number 3, giving up pick number 8 this year, pick 43, a first next year, and a second next year to acquire number 3 from the Patriots. Big haul from the Pats, with only moving down to 8. And they take their shot. They take the second best quarterback in this draft, in Drake May.
I like it. I mean, as a Pats fan, I know they said if they got the right package, they would consider moving the number 3 pick. And I do think that is the right package. 2 seconds and 2 firsts is a pretty dang good deal for the number 3 overall pick. I do think it does depend on the Patriots offseason if they're able to bring in one of those quarterbacks like we were talking about earlier. I mean, even if not, I think they could take a guy at like 8 or even in the second round there, like a Penix or a Bo Nix or something like that. Take a shot on one of them and be okay. But yeah, I like it. I think Drake May would be the right pick there for the Falcons as well. I mean, I kind of value Drake May and Jaden Daniels at the same right now, just because Drake May's level of comp in the ACC is not really the same as Jaden Daniels in the SEC, but I do think they're both very, very good quarterbacks. So I don't think you go wrong with either one of them.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is a very interesting prospect to look into him more. But it seems like for him, I mean, it is the SEC. I know the LSU's offensive line wasn't great, but he just played in an interesting style. A lot of running, a lot of taking hits, which you don't really want to see. I think he really just needs to show that he's more of like I don't want to say a pocket quarterback, because obviously that doesn't matter in the NFL now, but playing more in structure, or like the ability to play in structure.
Yeah, but he also has that ability to move if he needs to, which is good for a quarterback.
Drake May can move.
Oh, is that not who you're talking about? I'm sorry, I left. I thought you were talking about.
I was talking about no. Drake May is a little bit different, but he's a really interesting prospect as well.
Yeah, I like them both the same.
Nick,
moving on.
Overall, I would say, I mean, Drake May is the second best quarterback, undoubtedly. Daniels is good, but he comes with his own question marks that May doesn't have in a lot of regards. So if I'd say they're going to trade up to this spot to get a quarterback, I'd say they would do that. As for the Patriots, I think that haul would be worth it to just move down 5 picks. But again, like Joey said, it would really depend on who they can pick up in the offseason, if they can get like a Mike Evans type player or something like that. And who would be available at quarterback at number 8. Because if Jaden Daniels fell really far, then the Patriots might be able to pick up a good quarterback anyway.
Yeah.
Which I don't think he'll fall to 8, but
we'll see.
Moving right along, I have the Cardinals selecting LSU wide receiver Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, probably the best player on the board, and that's
you could have said anyone at any position, and it would have been a good pick because that team is poverty.
Even JJ McCarthy.
Yes, that would be somehow an improvement.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, good pick.
I remember I watched basically every game Malik Neighbors played last year because I was just a big Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors guy going into the year. Even as a Michigan fan, I enjoyed watching them. He's good. That game against Bama he had this year was crazy. He's the reason why they were able to compete that entire game. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for Marvin Harrison, he'd be the best wide receiver in the class by far. But you know, when you got a guy like Marvin Harrison, it's moving on.
All right. So next pick, we have the Chargers sticking firm and taking the Georgia tight end, Brock Bowers.
Georgia quarterback, Carson Beck.
Yep.
Yeah, seems like a pretty obvious pick.
Yeah, I feel like this is the one, like every mock draft that you see, it's always just Brock Bowers to the Chargers. Yeah. I mean, he's the best tight end prospect we've seen since Kyle Pitts. And he's probably would have been the best player in the country last year if he didn't get injured, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably.
Agreed.
You know, I think he's a more complete prospect than Kyle Pitts, but he's not like a unicorn like
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts is. So it's definitely like his ceiling's not nearly as high, but he's an insanely good tight end.
I think he's a better blocker than Kyle Pitts, but Kyle Pitts is a better receiver.
Well, Kyle Pitts ran like a 4.4 at 6'6".
Yeah.
And was a great route runner with good hands. So that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was actually insane. It's almost I can't believe no one would waste a talent like that, right? And there's not a single team in the league that would take a generational talent at tight end like that. And
actually, the Seahawks would do it. They don't know how to use tight ends.
Yeah, we kind of have wasted Noah Fant because like the few
Jimmy Graham,
he looked good.
Would you
You're kind of wasting DK Metcalf's career too. You know, you just got one playoff
appearance. Here's what I don't understand. There's so many fans that
complain. Let's not get into
Moving on.
No.
Moving on. We have another trade up in this mock draft. We have the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders taking a shot in the dark to move up with the Giants to take their potential quarterback of the future, Jaden Daniels. The Raiders give up pick 13 and 44 and a first next year for the Giants pick 6. The Giants move down, get those assets in return. Probably a good trade for them. But yeah, Jaden Daniels, another QB off the board.
Yeah, I like it. I do think it's the right move for the Raiders. I don't know if it's the right move for the Giants necessarily. I think they have a lot of holes that they need to fill that they could get at 6.
Well, the thing with the Giants is they have so many holes.
I'm not done. Thank you. I do think it's a good return for the Giants though, and if it doesn't pan out for the Raiders, with Jaden Daniels, obviously they're going to be set up very nice next year, as well as their pick for next year, in that because of that return. But yeah, I mean, I know Antonio Pierce has spoken very highly of Jaden Daniels coming into this draft, so I think that's the right move. I'm sorry, Nick. Now you can go.
I forgot what I said now.
All right, I'll just jump in. So this seems like a very Raiders move to trade up when your roster is pretty bare. I mean, you got Max Crosby, you got Devontae Adams. That's about it. I mean, who else do you have? Josh, well, isn't he? Did he sign an extension or did he get tagged?
I think
Robert Spillane.
Is he going to be a free agent?
Oh, Bobby Spillane is a beast, but he's also old and not very talented. So there's a lot of moves to be made. Pretty much anything but defensive line would be an upgrade to draft. I mean, they don't have a receiver too. That would be solid. I don't think it would be smart to give up your first next year and your second this year to move up 2 spots.
Yeah, except that a lot of times in this last season,
that's a lot of spots, but
a lot of times in this last season, though, it seemed like they were a quarterback away from competing in a few games, especially with how hard Antonio Pierce had that team playing.
I think it was just the AFC West was pretty weak this year.
Yeah,
uncharacteristically.
Yeah, because when the Chargers are down, then it's literally just the Chiefs and everybody else.
Yeah,
but I think it's a better move for the Giants than it is for the Raiders, personally.
Yeah, me too. Well, except for the fact that they seem to be more a QB away than the Raiders. I mean, they dealt with an ungodly amount of injuries last year.
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't know if it would be good for either team. I mean, obviously they pick up a lot of assets, but it seems like they're like a quarterback and a tackle away and maybe a free agency signing at receiver from really competing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Oh, we'll move this right along.
All right. Moving on. The Titans stay at 7. They take Notre Dame's Joe Alt, tackle.
I disagree with this pick.
Oh, why is that, Nick? You can elaborate.
Because the fact that any offensive lineman in this draft going before Olu is frankly ludicrous to me.
Nick, weren't we the ones who had to convince you last mock draft that Olu was better than Joe Alt?
No, I had him going first.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think it's a 1A, 1B situation, so it's really just off preference. And the Titans have a lot of needs on the offensive line, so good pick.
Joe Alt does feel more like a Titan than Olu does, in my opinion. He just feels like a Titan. You look at him and you're just like, yeah, I don't see him anywhere else.
Yeah,
What is that
it
supposed to
just
mean?
doesn't feel right for
No,
him
it's
to
just
go.
like his play style,
I'm
Carl.
joking.
His
No,
play
I'm just kidding.
style.
He's got
You know
that
what I
aura.
mean?
kidding.
He's got that Titan aura.
Yeah, he's got
He
that Titan
does.
aura.
You know what? He does.
And you know what aura Olu
Okay.
has?
He feels like
We'll get there
Taylor
later.
Swan. Let's move on.
Now it's for the good one. This is the good one. The Patriots. Oh, trading down. They're at 8 now. The Patriots take Washington wide receiver Rome Odunze.
I don't hate the pick. I don't like it either. I'll tell you why. We need wide receiver. He is the best wide receiver available. That's why I like it. But I also dislike it because I feel like at that pick, there's better players there that we need O-linemen bad as well as wide receivers. And with this free agents class, with the amount of money we have, I feel like we can go and get like a Michael Pittman to get us our wide receiver 1 for this year and get somebody in the draft next year instead of taking one this year. I would rather have drafted like Olu this year. And then if we trade down to 8, I'd rather draft like an O-lineman if Malik Neighbors is gone and try to, depending on how our offseason goes. But if we say we don't get a wide receiver in the offseason or a quarterback, then I think Odunze is the right pick. But that's my opinion. That's why I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. You know, it just depends on our offseason. Because we have a lot of money to spend. It just how we spend it is what I look at.
Penix in the second round.
Yeah. I think the Patriots, they try to make a move in the draft that excites fans, and they need to make a move to excite fans. They need to make a move that Bill Belichick would not do, I think, and that would be taking a receiver in the first round.
Yeah, but trading down is just the most Bill Belichick thing to do.
Yeah, but when you get that type of package, and when the Patriots are not 1 player away, they're not 2, not 3, not 4, they're about 22 players away from.
No.
Competing.
Our defense is good. We're 11 players away. All right. We're 11 players away. We're an offense.
You can use some linebacker help.
Yeah, but it's serviceable.
All right.
We were like the number 3 ranked defense last year, Carl. Don't give me that. All right.
All right. What about the 9th pick?
The Bears select edge Dallas Turner. Alabama.
I had the same in mind.
Yeah, like I said during next, I still think Latu is better, but Dallas Turner does have that pre-draft aura. So it does make sense for him to go here.
I don't know, Latu has a lot of aura though. That's a tough
Yeah,
decision.
but he doesn't have
just
as much like
just drafting off pure aura wise.
Yeah.
I think it's
But
close.
he doesn't have the pre-draft hype plus the aura that Dallas Turner's been getting.
I don't know. I know. I've been seeing
didn't go to
some
Bama,
crazy
that's why.
comps for Latu.
Yeah.
So
but when you go to UCLA instead of Alabama, it will show in your draft stock.
I don't know, man. Josh Rosen would like to say different.
Yeah, look at what ended up with him. Was he
Nick?
pick
What are
3?
your thoughts?
For the Dallas Turner pick,
yeah,
I would say I picked the same thing in my draft, so I have nothing but good things to say about it.
Right.
Overall, just good fit for them. He has the aura. He has the pedigree.
Yeah, seems like a need for them. So
big words.
Yeah.
Pedigree.
Very big read.
I like it.
Big need. So now we have the Jets at 10. This is where the preference offensive line goes, and they take Mr. Fashanu.
And this is what
nuts.
I was going to say earlier. Joe Alt feels like a Titan. Olu belongs in the tri-state area. He belongs on the Jets or on the Giants. He did that. His aura just fits perfectly in there. You know what I'm saying? Like I look at him when I was watching him at Penn State. I'm like, I see this guy playing alongside Mekhi Becton or protecting Danny Dimes. I don't see him anywhere else. Elijah Vera Tucker.
That O-line would be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean their O-line is already supposed to be crazy, and it seems like they just underperform every year. So I mean they really need somebody like Olu, and it would be amazing if he were to fall to them. I think they might have to move up. There's a world where they move up to 8, I think, and take Olu, and you give up like a 3rd-round pick or something like that.
The thing is, though, does Belichick do what he did last year and screw over the Jets like he screwed over the Steelers? Was it the Steelers? No.
But what part of what organization is Bill Belichick a part of again?
I forgot he wasn't in New England. I'm sorry. I was watching the Dynasty docuseries last night, and it got me thinking that Bill Belichick was still here.
Yeah. The part where Joey was 4 years old.
No, I'm okay. Well, okay. Did you know when he was in Cleveland, because he cut Bernie Kosar, they made a dummy of Bill Belichick and they hung it outside the stadium on a noose in Cleveland.
I didn't know you were part of the Bill Belichick fan club podcast.
No, I'm just saying. Isn't that crazy? That's a crazy thing to do.
Irrelevant.
It's not crazy. Bernie Kosar is probably the best Browns quarterback of all time.
Yeah, but he destroyed his ankle and he couldn't run anymore.
Irrelevant.
I don't care.
Irrelevant. We're talking about the draft. Irrelevant. This is all irrelevant.
All right, let's move along.
Vikings 11. Jaraz Newton.
I like it. I think he's the best interior D lineman in the draft by far, and I think the Vikings are a good fit. They have a lot of holes, and defense is one of them.
Max, I don't like that pick.
To get a big run-stopping D tackle, like Newton, I think would help him a lot.
Gotta say,
why do you not like the pick?
Because he is mine. He's mine. We need him.
You're getting Jaden Verse and you're liking it, Nick.
Wait, don't the Seahawks run a 3-4?
Jared.
Paul, we need anything on the interior.
He's not really a fit. I mean, he could be a 3-4 DN, but he fits a lot more with the Vikings, and a 4-3 interior guy is his profile.
Yeah, but we really need just any interior D line at all.
You guys need a lot.
Shut up, man. You guys lost to the Packers again. I don't want to hear it from you.
Nick,
you lost to the Steelers, and you didn't make playoffs because you lost to the Steelers. You know who beat the Steelers?
Okay, how many games did you win?
The Broncos at 12 fall victim to the Daniel Jeremiah bait. And they take Michigan QB JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, so I'll break this down real quick. JJ could have been a good quarterback if he didn't go to a run-first college like he chose to go to. He has the athleticism, but, when you run the ball 50 times a game and pass it 16, it's pretty easy to look like a decent quarterback. And when you win the Natty, you kind of get that hype that everyone's giving him right now, which personally, as a Michigan fan, I don't feel like he deserves. I don't think he's a first-round pick. I think at best he's a second round. If that, I think he'd probably go 3rd or 4th round if he didn't win the Natty. He'd be between round 3 and round 6 is where I would have him getting drafted.
Yeah.
Unless if he didn't win the Natty. But he won the Natty.
Think as of right now, he's not top 100 on my big board. So
what's that? So
I think
3rd round?
I think he's Daniel Jones without the arm. So
I think that's a fair comp.
I think this is a super predictable pick from the Broncos. I feel like the Broncos organization is just not. What's a word that I can use? Terrible.
Competent.
I think they're really headed for a bad place, and I think they're headed for a lot of mediocrity over the next couple years.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
All right.
JJ does fit the profile of quarterbacks drafting though.
Giants. Tackle. Bama. Latham.
I like the pick. He's a good tackle. I think he's probably the best tackle available. Depending on your board, some people might put the guy from OSU ahead of him. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah, good pick. It's a need.
I think it's just a preference thing, like it was with Olu and Alt. I think it's just, do you like Latham or do you like Fuga. I'm gonna butcher his last.
Tufanga. Is that what it is?
No, it's like Fuaga.
Oh, yeah, Fuaga.
Fuaga.
Okay, yeah.
It's either Lantham or Fuaga. It's just your preference, whoever fits your team more. I mean, they don't got the aura of Alt and Olu, so I can't really say where I think they should go. I didn't watch them play nearly as much as anyone else, any other tackle in the draft. So.
I don't know. JC Latham just fits that Saints aura, in my opinion.
I could see that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on.
All right. At 14, back to back, the Saints go with Fuaga.
Good need. Yeah, it's a good pick.
I like it.
The
Yeah.
Saints.
I mean,
need a lot
they
of
lost
things,
to Ron
but
Armstead.
Yeah.
Trevor Penning, ass. So.
Terrible.
Yeah, they have no
Gets into fights
tackles.
in practice.
Oh, they
Terrible.
have Ryan Ramczyk.
Oh, they got around. Oh, that's right. I forgot about
Wait, did he retire?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But their
So
interior
it
is
feels
not
like
bad.
he's gonna
Right?
have
They
an
got
early retirement.
the interior is not bad, right? If I remember correctly, interior line.
Eric
It's
McCoy
all
is
right.
terrible.
It's not very good.
They got McCoy.
They have like
He's all
Cesar
right.
Ruiz, I think.
Yeah, I think he was from
Eric
Michigan.
McCoy is dog water.
Yeah, I think Ruiz is decent, but yeah, McCoy's bad.
All right,
All
move on.
15, with the supposed leaving of Michael Pittman Jr., the Colts make a splash for their new rookie QB by getting him wide receiver, Florida State, Keon Coleman.
I like it. I think it's a good pick. You know what they need if Pittman ends up leaving, they obviously need a wide receiver. They got a hole there to fill, and he's best available. Yeah, I mean their offenses. They need weapons for Richardson the third too when he comes back, and that's Coleman could be that.
Yeah, I don't think Keon Coleman is the best on the board, but I could definitely see Coleman move up due to Combine and Pro Day. I think he could definitely move up into the top 15 for sure, just because of the size and the athleticism.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. We'll get this one in because I love to hear from Nick on this. 16, the Seattle Seahawks
Oh no.
of Seattle select Latu, edge rusher, UCLA.
I love the pick, but Jared versus
I don't think it happened.
The things I would do for this pick to happen. Oh my.
What you mean by that?
What
Fence-
kind of things?
What
Anything?
you mean by that?
EA devs?
All right. But yeah, the things I would do to have Devin Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen, Jordan Brooks, Bobby Wagner, and shut up, Max. And Latu all in the same defense run by Mike McDonald. Oh my God, that defense would be literally insane. It would be a top 5 defense in the league, I think.
Yeah, the only issue is that Jordan Brooks is a Falcon. Tariq Woolen is going to play left bench this season.
No. That's not happening.
And Bobby Wagner is in a senior home. So
They're both staying a Seahawk for
real.
life.
I have the script. Wait. It's real.
Bobby Wagner move laterally challenge.
Impossible.
Yeah, he can only move downhill.
Okay, so we're on to the Jags now. Pick number 17. They go with a strong need in the secondary. Cornerback, Alabama, Terrion Arnold.
I like the pick. After reviewing some film, I kind of have him, Cooper DeJean, and Nate Wiggins all at like the same. I mean, I gotta look into more film still, but I don't hate the pick. I do think that Nate Wiggins and Cooper DeJean might be a little bit better, but he did play better comp than the other two. So yeah.
One thing I think the Jags do need is O-line, but like the last 2 picks you had, they picked some good O-line, so I think they might get stuck with someone like Terrion Arnold instead of like a real need. But still a good pick.
Yeah, I mean they do have a need at corner, but I think you're right. I think the bigger need is offensive line and protecting Trevor Lawrence.
All right, awesome. Well, moving right along, we have an offensive lineman that they could have taken, but they didn't. We have the Bengals at 18, taking the tackle. One of my favorites out of the University of Georgia, Amarius Mims.
Yeah, not a
They
bad
do
pick.
need that.
They need help. Obviously, Joe Burrow needs to get protection so he can stay healthy for a full season. You know, we saw what happens when he is healthy for a full season. They are Super Bowl contenders. So maybe,
I don't know,
actually,
man.
instead of drafting another wide receiver, draft some O-line.
I don't know, man. Philip Rivers never used protection. He turned out just fine.
There's a different kind of protection that you're talking about.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
Hey, when Philip Rivers is starting quarterback for the San Diego Chargers in 2050, and his whole offense is his kids, we'll see who's laughing.
That's terrible.
any decent pick, I'd say. They do need O-line. One thing I could see happening is potentially them taking a wide receiver like Troy Franklin to replace T. Higgins if they do a tag and trade.
I don't think they're going to tag and trade him.
I don't know, because I don't know if they have the finances to be able to maintain a good team and Chase and Burrow.
We just went over their finances. They have like 50 million cap.
Yeah.
Which they might honestly just save to give to Jamar next year.
Yeah.
All right.
I think they will.
Or this year.
Or this
Yeah, they could extend him a year earlier, right?
True.
Moving on. The Rams. This is another team that I feel like is like the Cardinals because everything's old and there's only a few young pieces, so they could probably use stuff everywhere. So I have them taking Florida State edge rusher Jared Verse.
It's a good pick.
I like it. I think he's a very good player, and I think being on that D line with Aaron Donald, he'll learn very quickly from like a great player like Aaron. Even though Aaron plays more interior, right? Which is why he gets triple teamed so often. But yeah, I think that he could develop into a really good player, being able to learn from one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, if he wasn't just like a Seahawk, this would be a great pick. But he's not going to be there.
I think Latu goes to I think you flip Jared Verse and Latu right now. Even though Latu is significantly better.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, moving right along. The Steelers select an outlandish type of pick, but I feel like it could work because they need it. An offensive, he's listed at a guard / center. We have the Oregon man, Jackson Powers Johnson.
Yeah, I'll speak on. He is the best interior guy in the draft, in my opinion. But 20 is way above his ADP. But the Steelers do really need some interior linemen, especially at center, because they're gonna have. Did Pouncey retire yet?
He retired a couple years ago.
Oh Jesus, really? Like cow.
Yeah.
I haven't followed the Steelers in that long.
Before Big Ben retired.
Oh, jeez, man. Well, yeah. Well, they haven't had a good interior lineman since him, and I think this is the best interior lineman in the draft. At 20 is kind of crazy. I think maybe if they want to take him, they'll either draft someone different here and then trade up in the second round, or trade back and then draft him in the second rounds. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I was making like a draft type of thing. I didn't even see him at all on CBS's list.
Pro Football Focus has him ranked pretty high.
Okay. Is he like in like the 20s or something?
Maybe not the 20. They have him like late first, early second sort of deal when I was last looking.
Yeah, I mean clearly they do have a need at center because they just cut Mason Cole, I think like yesterday. So
yeah, I think the think the only two interior guys they had there were JPJ and I think one of the guys from UConn was supposed to they had going in the second round. The center there. What's his name, Nick?
Kendrick Green or Kenyon Green?
Something, yeah, something like that.
Well, Kenyon Green is already on the Steelers, I think.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Those are their
No,
interior
I'm saying
line.
that PF, the Pro Football Focus, had
Oh.
two offensive guards going at like in the second round, and it was Jackson Powers Jr. and then a guy from UConn.
No, well, I thought Troy.
Christian Hayes.
Futanu.
Who? Huh?
Yeah,
Troy
Futanu.
from Washington.
Futanu. Oh,
Futanu and
yeah,
then
I forgot about
Hayes.
him. I get confused. I thought he was a tackle for some reason. I always do that though.
Nick, what do you think?
Overall decent pick. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
There you
right. Next. We saw the other day. We were all talking about it. Everyone's making cuts and everything. The Dolphins release Xavier Howard. So I think, why not help their
Makes
cap
sense.
situation by drafting a corner? They take Nate Wiggins. The Clemson.
Yeah, I think it could be a big need for them now, especially that they cut Howard. But yeah, no, I don't hate the pick. That's all I really have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they had a need at corner regardless. I mean, Howard regressed significantly over the last year or two. And they have Ramsey, who was still really good last year. I think it'd be a good pick for them.
Yeah, overall, just a decent pick, fits the need. Decent talent. I think he might have a little bit higher of a draft stock than DeJean at the end of the day. Especially because DeJean is, if you just saw the recent news, he's going to be skipping the combine. So in Madden, that might make you a baller, but in real life, that looks a little suspicious.
Yeah, it's probably because if he runs slow, they're going to want to put him at safety. I'm assuming that's what it would be.
Probably.
And he wants to play corner.
Yeah.
So,
But
following that up.
I mean, just one real quick. I think, in my opinion, Xavier Howard just smells like a cowboy. like a third string corner.
Irrelevant. All right, irrelevant. Moving on.
For cheap.
The
No
Eagles. Talking about that division, the Eagles. They've had some struggles in the secondary this past year. So, why not go draft a man that we were just talking about?
Yeah.
The man, the myth, the combine non-existent legend, Cooper DeJean.
I mean, yeah, he's a very versatile secondary piece, and the Eagles just need help everywhere in the secondary. So whether he's playing safety or corner, I think it's a good addition. He's a very good corner. Yeah.
I mean, they already have the Cooper DeJean clone in Reed Blankenship. So I mean they're a different kind of players. But actually, I think Joey was bringing up Xavier Howard as a Cowboy. I think he is an Eagle because the Eagles love signing washed up players that have a big name and used to be good. So.
Yeah, no, you're right. I can see that too. I was just saying the Cowboys because I feel like I don't know.
No, we just need to
sign him as like a fourth string guy, like nickel or
fourth string. He's probably going to get like a decent amount of money still.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. He's not that washed yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, pretty good pick. I didn't know in my mock draft if Cooper DeJean was going to be available that way. It seems like his draft stock is falling a little bit, so it seems more likely. But yeah, I still like my pick better for the Eagles of Ennis Rakestraw Jr. because Ennis Rakestraw Jr. is going to be a very good corner in the NFL. I swear he exists, guys. You gotta believe
the
me.
thing is with Cooper DeJean, he's just when I was watching his film, he smells like a safety. He loves hitting people hard, and that's just what safeties do.
And if he doesn't work out at corner, they can always move him to safety. I'd say try him at corner first.
I mean, they need help either way.
They could just throw him a nickel. I mean,
yeah.
You
know, I
and then they draft Ennis Rakestraw Jr. in the fourth round.
The same thing in mind. Like they need more help at corner, but I could see him playing that nickel role.
Nickel is super, super undervalued and super important in the NFL because they really do everything. So I think that'd be good fit for him.
So, moving on here, we have the Texans, pick 23. We saw how good C.J. Stroud was. We saw what he could do with what he had.